What is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. This is the Pig Trail Network. I am Tyzilla83. And, we're talking about Daniel Gafford in this video. Is he coming back? Should he come back? All that stuff. All things Daniel Gafford. All things DG. But before we do, I'd like to remind you guys at the end of the video to like, comment, share the content that you just watched. And, of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap that subscribe button down below. Don't forget the bell. I like to talk about the bell because apparently not all subscribers are getting hit up by YouTube that I've got new content out. I've had a couple people reach out to me and say that they didn't know until like a few days later. So hit that bell, and you'll get a notification as soon as the video goes live. So, let's go ahead and let's talk about Mr. Gafford. How are those brackets doing? Is yours just as bad as mine? Like you've got one team still alive. Everyone else is done already by the Sweet 16. Oh, what an ugly year. It's been a fun year, honestly. I mean, that's what makes the NCAA tournament so fun is these upsets. We already had a historical upset. That was fun to watch. But Duncan Daniel Gafford. Is he coming back? Should he come back? I think 99% of Hog fans will agree that he should come back. And I'm not going to say, I honestly don't believe that because Gafford's coming back next year that means Arkansas is going to the tournament. I'm not in that camp. Will it increase their odds? Obviously. You'd be crazy not to believe that. Daniel Gafford is that. He's a difference maker on the court. He's a playmaker. He's just one of those guys, he makes things possible when he's playing. So if you're in that camp of, well, if he comes back next year, they're going to the tournament, they'll be fine. I don't know. You might want to just remember you've got some guys that aren't going to be here next year. Some really good shooters out on the perimeter that are not going to be here. And when they were cold, this team struggled. Couldn't rely on the bench. Couldn't rely on anybody else. And that's why now I'm gonna segue into the next part of the reason why I think he should come back. One of the reasons, obviously, other than the fact that it seems like players under Mike Anderson benefit when they come back. Bobby Portis is a good example. Daryl Macon and Jalen Barford are two other examples. Those guys, if you look at their production from a year ago, it definitely went up this year. They were definitely Barford and Macon both went from like 13 points a game to I think 18 points a game. And it helps that they got more time on the floor, too. Don't get me wrong. But Portis, he was somebody who came back his second season, polished his game up, and it definitely added to his stock, and it improved his stock coming back. There's no doubt about that. For Daniel Gafford, it's for those very reasons when I said a minute ago, you're not going to have Macon and Barford back. Well, there's someone who can kind of relate to this situation in similar fashion. Moses Kingsley. Now, first off, if you compare him and Gafford, they literally had the 2017-2018 season. It was like Moses Kingsley. When you compare the stats to Moses Kingsley's last year at Arkansas and Daniel Gafford in the 2017-2018 season, they're almost, it's like looking in a mirror. They're almost the exact same amount of points, same amount of rebounds, same amount of blocks, similar production on the court. But if you go back the year before Barford and Macon were at Arkansas, before those guys made it onto campus, the 2015-2016 season, Moses Kingsley was a factor on the offensive end. I mean, this guy almost averaged a double-double. He averaged 16 points a game and 9 rebounds. His last year, the first year that Jalen Barford and Daryl Macon were on campus, he averaged 12 points, just north of 11 points per game. He also averaged less rebounds as well, which is actually kind of odd. He improved his free throw shooting by a lot, actually, as well. He went from 63% to 75%, which is incredible, which is something Gafford needs to do. He's worse at the free throw line. He is far worse. Gafford at the free throw line was like a 50-something% shooter. There's no doubt that, and we knew at the beginning of the year, I thought, wow, he could actually be pretty good at the free throw line. Then he just went south. So we know he can do it, and he needs to prove that on the stat sheet. But the point that I'm making is Jalen Barford and Daryl Macon are about to be gone. The focus of this offense is going to be included more with Daniel Gafford. I don't know that they're going to circle him as the go-to guy on the offensive boards, but or on the offensive side of things. But he's definitely going to be a bigger part of it, especially with those two gone. Let's not lie. Jalen Barford, the huge ball hog. As soon as that guy got the ball in his hands, he'd take a shot. Anton Beard would do the same thing sometimes. He would think, well, I made 1-3. I guess, next possession, I need to jack up the next shot, contested or not. He's gone. Macon is gone. The focus, I guarantee you, it's going to shift more towards Daniel Gafford. So now, and look, at the next level, who knows what the NBA is going to ask of him. Who knows where he goes and who knows what that team's going to ask of him. But there's no doubt you come back for a second season, at least one more season. Proof is in the pudding. You're going to improve and your draft stock is going to climb. You're already looked at as a top 15 player in the NBA draft according to like every website. Just imagine if you come back, you could be way higher. That's why he should come back. Do I think that he comes back? I don't know. When you're already projected a top 12, top 15 pick, a lot of kids, every kid's different, but a lot of kids are going to look at the money and they're going to run. Bobby Portis didn't. I was really surprised that both Jalen Barford and Daryl Macon came back, but they did and they benefited from it. I think Daniel Gafford should as well. Again, when you look at his numbers side by side with Moses Kingsley, with Barford and Macon on campus, they're the exact same. But when they're not there, Moses Kingsley, you guys remember that. He averaged almost a double-double in conference play. He was dominant. You're going to tell me Gafford couldn't do the same thing? Or better? So that's why I think he should come back. I'm going to know what you guys think. Do you think that he should? I want your honest opinions. Whether you're Hog fans or not, do you think that he ought to just run? Just go. Well, I shouldn't say run, but do you think he ought to just take the shot and go to the NBA draft and whatever? Or do you think, like me, that he ought to come back, polish his game up, maybe develop a jump shot, get better at the free throw line? And it's not like they're not going to draft him. They're not drafting him based on his numbers right now. They're not looking at that. They're going to look at film. They're going to see potential. They're going to see how athletic he is for his size, how much of an athletic freak he is for his size, and they're going to draft him top 15 based on potential. But imagine if you came back and they've drafted you on not only potential, but how well you improve from one year to the next. That's going to show that you're going to grow. You could grow into being something special. And I think Bobby Portis is the best example of players that you look at who came back and who grew into a larger role as they came back on campus. And they benefited from it, and they got drafted higher as a result. So, all right, you guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to hit that bell, baby. Hit that bell so that way you know as soon as the video goes live. And until next video, we'll see you guys hopefully on Friday. See you around.